So we kick our night off tonight with Larry Maxson as our referee. Robert Link and Jack Miller set to get things underway and kind of walk us through the rules set for this grappling match, Victoria.
So I believe like our last grappling bout on the last card, these guys are going to go for 5 minutes, and they are going to if they get a submission, the fight gets stopped, but it doesn't end, and we're going to rack up the submissions as points throughout the match.
Yeah, so basically this will be a submission grappling match. Every submission scored, as you just said, will count as 1 point. We will go through those 8 minutes. If we have a winner, we will have a winner. If we are still tied, we'll have 2 minutes of additional time to be added on. That is an interesting way to start this. Robert Link up into the air and now onto his back.
Yeah, he really fought that ankle pick. It was a good ankle pick from Miller, but you know, Robert's a very physical fighter, and he just fought through it. But here he has his back taken by Miller.
Yeah, and Miller's now flattening Link out here, looking for that rear naked choke. And one thing that stuck out to me, looking at Robert Link's record, he's been submitted via rear naked choke 5 times during his 16 matches. Difficult to see if he's got it sunk in. Obviously, he doesn't, as you can see.
He's fighting the hands right now, and he's been able to flip to his back. I see a lot of fighters that, you know, they use their physicality, their sheer willpower to get out of positions like this, and you know, you learn as a fighter that does not work when you're exhausted.
Well, that's something that you kind of pointed out to me earlier, that Robert, a very physical fighter, and that's normally what he tries to do in some of these situations, is power his way out of that. I'm curious to see if he'll still have that strength, you know, 5 minutes later into this match.
Yes, and I'm curious to see if he, you know, used his training for this bout to maybe improve some of the skills and the technique needed to get, in these positions.
Well, one thing that I have learned from watching all of these, it is skill over power, really. The skill usually wins out, especially when it goes to the grappling. Obviously, sometimes on the feet you can have it and win the game or win the fight with the power, but in this grappling, it's all about the skill and the technique.
Good transition from Miller. He, from that front headlock, he spun around to take the back again. And here he could almost could kick himself up into mount.
Yep. He looks like he's heading that way now.
That's what he just did.
That's why we've got Victoria here. She sees the openings, and of course, now Miller moving over into mount.
It's very hard to finish any submissions from mount. You almost have to give up mount to finish the submissions. It's great for MMA where you can land damage, but here I'm not sure. It's just not very likely that he finishes this submission.
Yeah, especially not from this angle. It would be nearly impossible to get Robert Link from this spot. Maybe going to try.
What Link has got to do is to kick his legs, not Link, yes, Link's got to kick his legs forward and clear those hooks. We call that a grapevine in that mounted position. And it's very hard to bridge when your legs are hooked like that. So he's got to look to get those free if he's going to do anything.
Well, so far Miller doing a good job of holding Link down in this position. As you mentioned, Robert will try and power his way out of here sometimes. I'm curious, we'll see. And there it is a little bit.
He may be, I was going to say he might be looking for a head and arm, but that move is, we've now transitioned.
Well, Robert Link back to his feet here after being in a compromising position for about the last 3 minutes of this fight. Grappling match, I should say.
Little scramble there.
Four and a half to go here in our first grappling match of the night. We will see Darius Kennedy and Michael Sullivan grapple as well at light heavyweight later in the evening.
One thing I love about having these grappling matches in the cage is that you're able to use some of your cage wrestling, which you'll need later in MMA, whereas in a normal grappling bout, you won't have the cage to kind of keep you fenced in.
Well, Miller gets the single leg. Now working from the side. And again, you can see trying to move back over into mount. I think he feels like that's a very dominant position for him, but as you mentioned, difficult to finish from there. Robert Link throwing the legs up potentially. And when you're on your back, what submissions are you looking from this position? Maybe you catch them in a triangle potentially?
Yeah, most of your submissions you're going to need to get back to guard from. There's like the buggy choke and things that you can do from bottom when someone's in you're in their side control, but it isn't a good position necessary to look at submissions.
Neither of these fighters has scored a point in our opening grappling match of the night here at AKA 26.
Yeah, I think that is Juan Carlos in Jack Miller's corner, and he's coaching him in pushing that arm across the head. I think what he wants him to do there is look for an arm triangle, which he can start from this position, and you have to finish in side control.
Well, for 20 years of age, Jack Miller has looked very good so far in his debut here at AKA. He's yet to lock up a submission, but he has been in control for the majority of this match. Now, this is a position you can certainly finish from. You got him flattened down here, probably gonna start looking for that rear naked choke.
And that was good of Miller to use that pressure to get Link to give him something, get him to move. You know, when you're in those good positions, you don't want to force something. You want to use what your opponent gives you.
Robert Link has done a good job of keeping himself out of any serious situations just yet, but Jack Miller continues to work. 2 minutes remaining. If no one has scored a submission over these final 2 minutes, we will have an additional 2 minutes in overtime, if you will. And those rules will be a little bit different. Escapes will also count as a point in those final 2 minutes, not just submissions. As we search for a winner here between Jack Miller and Robert Link. Miller just kind of suffocating Robert Link at the moment. I'm curious to see if you'll see a little bit of desperation here as the clock starts to tick away for Robert Link.
I mean, really, we need something from either one of them. Neither one of them is technically winning. There's that head and arm that I'm talking about. He's going to need to come out of mount into side control to finish that, though. It's kind of hard to finish from mount.
And you can hear the corner actually calling for that now. Final 60 seconds of regulation between these two. And there's that power. We talked about, would Robert Link have some of that power left? He sure does here with the final 1 minute upon us. I don't know if you noticed that, but it looked like he stood up and was ready to throw hands at the end of that.
Sometimes you do things out of habit. Let's hope he doesn't do that, though.
Jack Miller with another takedown, but he's caught in a guillotine now.
He's caught. He's trying to get his legs on the other side. Oh, that was a good slam.
Big time slam here as we are on.
There's the tap.
With 10 seconds remaining at the buzzer, Robert Link picks up a submission point. So Robert Link at the buzzer. I mean, it was kind of like a basketball game, right? You're dribbling, you got the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ticking down. Robert Link locks in the guillotine and gets the tap as he picks up the submission point with literally 10 seconds remaining on the clock. We call that clutch, Victoria.
That definitely was clutch. And, you know, that's one of those things that submissions are there. You know where to look for him, and he took his opportunity. He was getting taken down, and he sunk in that guillotine.
Ladies and gentlemen, after one 8-minute round of fantastic grappling action, we are going to the scores. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, 1 submission to 0, the good bad guy, Robert Link.
Great work by Robert Link as he comes up with the clutch victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to conduct our post-fight interviews, Robert Link, get back in this cage. Robert, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here to conduct our post-fight interviews, let's hear it for the UFC's very own Victoria Fury Mason.
Thank you. What a great show of sportsmanship. Robert Link, let me have a word with you, sir. You must feel pretty good right now.
Awesome. Really, because every fight I done had, I lost on the ground. So I proved a lot to myself by doing this, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, man. This big for me.
Well, let me know, what was running through your mind when you got a hold of this guillotine? From our perspective, he was taking you down a lot. There was a lot of control that he had throughout the fight, and you know, there towards the end, we weren't sure if anybody was going to get submission, and then at the last second, you got a hold of it. How did you feel? What were you thinking?
Man, everything requires patience. It's really you versus you in there, you know? You can't really always focus on the time. You just got to do what you got to do, and everything will fall in place.
Well, I know that you're super proud of yourself.
Oh, yes.
And is there anybody that you'd like to thank?
I want to thank my coach. First of all, I want to thank God. And I want to thank my coach and my team, because they beat when it comes to this, they maxed me out. So I'm thankful for my team and all the support, the people that came out here, you know, and it's just an amazing feeling, man. It's a big accomplishment for me.
Well, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put it together for Robert Link.